Okay, so when you think about flood restoration, what comes to mind? Probably mops, big fans, buckets, right? But what if I told you that whole industry is right in the middle of a massive high-tech revolution? We're talking drones, satellites, and artificial intelligence. Today, we're going to dive into how this tech is completely changing the game when it comes to recovering from disaster. So to really get why this revolution is even happening, you just have to know one number: 27. That's how many separate billion-dollar disaster events smacked the US in 2024 alone. I mean, that's not just a statistic. That is the new reality. And it's creating a challenge on a scale we've just never seen before. And, of course, where there is a challenge that big, a market rises to meet it. And what a market it is. In 2025, the global disaster restoration industry is valued at a jaw-dropping $42.93 billion. This isn't some niche little sector anymore. It's a massive global force right on the front lines of our changing climate. So, what's really fueling this explosive growth? Well, it's not just one thing. It's actually a powerful mix of factors that are fundamentally changing our world and just cranking up the demand for faster and especially smarter recovery services. And you have to understand, this isn't just a fluke or a bad year. One of the world's top risk assessment firms, Munich Re, they've confirmed it. They're basically saying this trend of more frequent and way more costly disasters, it shows no signs of slowing down. And that creates this urgent, constant need for better, faster solutions. So, how is the industry responding to this, well, rising tide? To really get what's happening, you got to follow the money. The numbers here tell a really powerful story about where this whole sector is headed. And these numbers are just staggering. The market is projected to surge from almost $43 billion in 2025 to over $55 billion by 2030. That's a steady growth rate of over 5% every single year. And it's all being driven by the relentless pace of these disasters. And this chart, it just lays it all out visually, right? That leap represents more than a $12 billion increase in just 5 years. It's a clear, powerful, upward trajectory that signals huge confidence and, of course, huge investment in the sector. But here's the thing. The real story isn't just about the money. It's about a fundamental, tech-driven shift in how this work actually gets done. Artificial intelligence is no longer some thing of the future. It's on the ground, right now, joining the cleanup crew. So, how big of a difference are we talking about? Think about this number for a second. 30%. That's how much faster AI-powered tools like these new moisture mapping systems can get a water damage restoration job done. For families and businesses trying to get back on their feet, that's a total game changer. This slide really just captures the night and day difference perfectly. We're moving away from the old way, slow, manual inspections, a lot of guesswork, and into this new era of precision. You've got high-res satellite and drone imagery, AI crunching the numbers. It all leads to this data-driven analysis that just dramatically speeds up the entire process. And here's what that new, super efficient workflow actually looks like in practice. It all starts with drones and satellites assessing the damage from the air. Then AI automatically classifies how severe it is. And with that data, you get real-time coordination of all the different teams on the ground and, this is crucial, it streamlines creating all the documents you need to get those insurance claims approved way faster. And again, this isn't science fiction. This is a toolkit being used in disaster zones as we speak. For example, thermal imaging drones can fly over a flooded neighborhood and instantly spot hidden moisture that's trapped in walls, stuff the human eye would totally miss. It's a complete technological leap forward for modern recovery. So, with all this incredible new tech pouring in, what does the future actually hold? Let's look ahead a bit and see what this transformation really means for the industry, for businesses, and frankly, for all of us who are affected by these events. It really boils down to 3 core forces that are creating a perfect storm for sustained growth. First, you've got more frequent and severe climate events. Second, aging infrastructure that's just more prone to breaking. And third, you've got this technological arms race where companies have to adopt AI just to stay competitive. And this growth, it is not slowing down. Beyond that 2030 projection, there's even longer-term confidence. Look at this. The residential sector alone is expected to hit $60 billion by 2035. The investment and the demand are clearly here for the long haul. And this is why it matters so much for the businesses in this space. Technology is no longer just some add-on. It's becoming the one thing that separates the winners from the losers. The companies that jumped on AI early, they're now the market leaders. They're delivering faster results, and they're commanding higher profits. This is creating a whole new class of tech-forward operators who are probably going to dominate the industry's future. Which, brings us to a really critical question to think about. As all this technology makes disaster recovery faster and more efficient, who ultimately benefits the most? Is it the companies, the insurers, or is it the communities and the homeowners who get their lives back to normal that much sooner? That, right there, is the real bottom line to consider.